You wake the following evening, and all of you need to do a rouse. Vaughn, you have aggravated willpower. Or not willpower, damage.
Yes.
If you want to heal that, you need 3 extra rouse. So
four
four in
rouses
total.
Oh no. Okay, I'll do the
Buddy.
first one. Ah! Oh, this is not looking good.
So one more.
If
You're 2
one
now.
more?
I believe.
Oh, wait, do I... So is instead of doing 1 to rouse, I rouse 3 in order to get rid of the damage or something like that? I do 2 more? 2 more rouses?
4 in total. 1 for waking.
Okay.
And 3 for healing the egg.
Okay, so I have 3 more to go now?
Yep.
Okay.
If you want
Can
to.
Can I stop rousing if I start getting a bad feeling about it? Like,
if you commit, you commit. But you don't have to do it.
oh man. Oh man. Only 3 more. I'm at 5. Ah, let's do it.
Really?
Oh no. All right. Yes.
Success.
And then 1 more. No.
Oh, you had 4.
Get back.
You rise.
Very hungry.
Your beast is growling inside your head, and you're almost shaking with its excitement of doing something reckless and probably stupid. But you are quite hungry. The rest of you, did you succeed? No.
I haven't
Oh.
roused yet.
Yeah.
Thought we were gonna go one by one.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
One
we all got a
more
Hunger
for
Game.
Alex, 1 more for Naomi. I think you're 2 or something.
Okay.
JK, you don't get any hunger. You keep being at 0 since the delightful tea.
Alex is going to rouse for Blush of Life. So that's a success.
Yeah. So Naomi, you're only at 2.
Okay.
You awake feeling slightly peckish, but you're not starving, and you know someone is coming by with some good stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, you're at 4, Vaughn, so I think I'll start with you.
Okay.
What's your plan of action here? You know the slightest drop of blood can cause you to frenzy.
Oh no. I was about to say, like, so which retainer did I stay with that night? And then I'm like, no, that's not good. I don't want to kill them. Oh no. I think what I'll do is Vaughn will take he's gonna make his way, he's gonna hobble over to the bar, the Anarch's bar.
Okay.
Because he wants to meet up with what was her name again?
Scarlet?
Scarlet? Yes. No, one with the T. Because he knows he's not in any position that if he bites somebody, it's gonna be bad.
If you even smell it.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
you walk there in an aggravated state. I'm gonna come back to that.
Hood, like he has like a hood over his head because he doesn't want people to see he's pale because he can't do blush.
It's fine. Alex, you wake. Judith is up before you. You wake to the sound of pop music.
Of course.
Full blast. She seems to be an early bird for a kindred.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And there's you didn't notice it when you went to bed, probably because of your state, but there's a feather, a white feather next to your on the what's it called? The cabinet next to your bed.
A nightstand.
The nightstand. Thank you.
Yeah.
You think I've heard your message and ready and waiting.
Yep. It makes him smile. He smiles to see it.
Do you want to do anything before 8 p.m.? You only have like 2 hours.
Yeah. I'm gonna let. I'm gonna go to Judith and say, tonight is a very busy night. There's a lot of important things going on. I need you to be okay with staying here tonight.
She looks at the floor for a moment and scrapes one feet like, and looks back at you and says, I guess so.
However, since I'm making this request, and I don't want you to have to be staring at the walls the whole night, you are certainly welcome to, try out your hand at recording some songs or playing inside the recording studio.
You have a violin down there.
Oh yes, we do. Yeah,
it's been a while. Could be fun.
I hope it's to your liking. So.
Just a Stradivarius or some shit there.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Some old dusty thing.
That's right. Yeah. So, he hopes that mollifies her a little bit. And
she seems excited. She hasn't played in a while.
Exactly. He doesn't want her to feel, like, so I just gotta stay here the whole night. So yeah, hopefully that'll help her stay entertained.
When can I learn the magic Naomi promised me? Can you ask her for me?
I will.
Thank
and
you.
Soon. Yes.
And ask her to come by.
Certainly.
And the owl lady.
Of course.
She was quite delightful.
Of course. Whatever you want.
Thank you. And she runs towards the elevator to go downstairs to the recording room. Are you headed straight to the hotel?
Yes, he's going to dress himself up. He put on some nice clothes, and he is going to get a vehicle and head to the hotel. He's got his weapons with him, but obviously, if they're not allowed inside, then he'll keep them close at hand and available. So. A car of his own that will stop a couple blocks away, and he'll walk the rest of the way so as not to give away any kind of association, and do his best to avoid cameras and that sort of thing. If you need me to roll for that, I certainly will.
No, it's fine for now. You're being cautious and you're taking the measures.
That's right.
It's more. People might recognize you, but not as a kindred, more as a rockstar.
Yeah, exactly.
Bloodstar, that's the new thing. JK, any preparations before going to court?
He's gonna go and make sure that his touchstone is still upholding well, and just make sure that everything is in order there.
She's there. Stiff as usual, but she's there, not decomposing.
And then he's going to just grab a little note he took the night before with like various rules and stuff, just so that he has this ready on hand if necessary.
Yeah, you did your homework. Yes.
And then he's gonna head off to court when the time comes.
Yeah. Naomi, you wake. Feel a bit hungry. Maybe tend to a few things like you usually do. And then you hear the sound of formal shoes in your basement. Click clack.
Okay.
You recognize his feet. And you're greeted by Victor. He's very composed usually, and he just slightly bows to you. He says, "Good evening, miss." He's holding a bottle of red liquid and 2 glasses in the other hand, and starts pouring as soon as he sees you. Hands one to you.
Sweet. Yeah, she takes it. She kind of glares at him, looking him up and down, be like, "You're glad that I'm also an early riser," showing up this unpromptly. Yeah, so she gets ready. I posted her dress that she's gonna get into. I figured she'd dress a little bit more formal considering how many important people are gonna be there. She takes a sip of the of the glass, and she kind of nods like in appreciation to Victor, and yeah, and just like good morning.
You said you have given some consideration to my offer of apprenticeship.
I did. I didn't think we're gonna have to fight a cultist Mithra on a throne.
Oh, what are you speaking of?
Um, well, we had this mysterious situation go down with one of our coterie's computers, and it kind of led us to a maze of an invitation to a meeting for apparently I don't know how else to call it, but other than a Mithras cult. So,
Oh, you found
um,
them. Excellent.
oh, so you know about them. That's good. Well,
Oh, I just know that Bradford tasked you with finding them, and it seems you have. He'll be delighted, or something. At least not annoyed.
yeah, okay, good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Um, yeah, so outside of that, obviously they were well, we're gonna have to talk about them tonight, but I definitely look forward to keeping in touch a little bit more often since this is kind of the presence that we're dealing with.
Are you in danger?
Feels like it. So,
Would you like to stay at my place? We can begin your training and be more... I don't like to rush, but I'm also kind of excited to see what a non-Tremere can do with the right training.
yeah, so am I. If I'd rather not go in the hole in the ground, but if that is what we have to do, that's what we have to do.
I don't mind picking you up.
Okay.
It just takes a bit of me, but it's just in case you don't feel safe here. If this is where you sleep, he looks around for any sign of a bed, but can't find it, and he takes a sip. When you drink, you slake one hunger.
Okay.
And you're not bound because he's Tremere, and they can't do that anymore. But yeah, I suspect Bradford would be grateful at least that you have accomplished your task in so few days.
Good. Well, my only ask is that we keep this from Alex, but
Tell you
beyond
what,
that,
if you say yes, I have a gift.
interesting. Well, since I am taking up on the offer, what is the gift? I say yes.
So it's a yes.
Yes.
He puts out his hand to actually shake on it.
She shakes back.
You get a slight simmer, almost, or spark in your head for just a moment. He says, I believe James is in town.
Interesting. Oh. She gets a little overwhelmed at first. Well then.
That's at least what I've heard from my associate in Canada. That he left for London.
Okay.
If he's here at the moment, I know not, but at least he's on his way.
Okay. I'd like to meet him promptly, if possible.
Well, I'm not familiar with the name, I just know he's your sire.
Oh, okay. I don't know if he told you directly or not, but
No, it's
thank you.
a friend of the Toronto Tremeres.
She tries to hold back a laugh.
Anything to be worried about?
Well, you know how Broodhaws are. I just want to be as prepared as possible. And I think you're part of the key of doing that.
Oh, I meant with your sire, dear.
Oh, well, she does deal with some like sexual tension with him. So she's a bit frustrated, but also like, no, I'm not. It's really not nothing you need to worry yourself with, to be honest.
Good.
He won't get in the way in her training.
You can't be distracted.
Exactly.
I'm gonna jump to Vaughn. You arrive at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
It seems closed, but it's a Tuesday, so whatever. Jamar is outside. He lets you in. He can
Thanks, Jamar.
see that you're not in the mood for long conversations. And you're greeted by, first by Gabriel, who simply just waves at you, says nothing, and as you enter, he leaves. And he says, "See you later," as the door slams behind you.
Mm-hmm.
He
Does like the Vaughn salute, but then goes like because like that, like, don't talk to me, please.
Mm. You see Josh, of course, in the bar, tapping away on his computer, and Marin is probably somewhere in the shadows. You don't see her at the moment, and you hear the rattle of a tea kettle from inside the office.
And it's almost like it's you know, like sort of like somatic response, psychosomatic. Oh, okay. And then it just starts going for that room.
When you enter, I need you to do a frenzy.
Oh.
So at the very bottom of the sheet, there's a frenzy button, and you just put in, when it asks you for difficulty, just one.
Rules frenzy, difficulty. Wait, so input value modifier 1, right?
No, not modify.
Oh.
It will ask you
sorry.
afterwards what the difficulty
see.
is.
Difficulty 1, yes.
Yep.
Oh fuck.
Oh fuck.
Is because was that me rolling willpower? I can't go for it again.
You can't, unfortunately.
Okay.
It does a willpower roll, and it adds your humanity modifier and everything like that.
Oh
no.
no.
Oh, Vaughn.
Here we go.
When you enter, you smell blood, and that triggers it in you. It's not that bad, but Scarlet is a bit startled when you push her aside and grab the tea kettle, the very warm tea kettle, and start to just chug it. You go back to 1 hunger. You get 1 superficial damage. For the
because it burned me. Yeah,
it burns you
that
from
makes
the
perfect
inside.
sense. Mm-hmm.
But you calm down again, and she's like, "Are you okay, dear? A bit thirsty, are we?"
I am so and my mouth hurts because it burned me. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I don't know what came over me. Like my tongue is like, if it was swollen or a little bit, like it's gone limp a little bit. I'm sorry. I'm here. I have money. I'm sorry. He feels so bad right now.
It's okay, dear. Nothing happened. Are you going to be at the meeting tonight? We're about to leave. I think Gabriel already did.
Yeah. I'm going there next. Yeah.
It's going to be quite exciting. I haven't seen a lot of people other than us lately. I believe everyone is to be there.
Yeah.
Do you want to go together?
Sure. Yeah.
She
You're
takes
not
your
put
hand.
off by. Oh, and then right in the middle of it grabs his hand. He's like, "Oh, okay."
It's
And
like
he looks
holding
her in
the hand of
eyes.
your grandma.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's adorable. I'm like, oh, thank you. And I guess, and we go.
Alex, you're the first to arrive to an empty room. It's a big sponge painted boardroom, grey sponge painted. There is a large black boardroom table. You can't help but smile at 2 Ventrus being in a boardroom. At least the irony does not escape you.
Right.
There's
This is a
big
familiar
windows
setting.
looking over the city. You're at the very
Yeah.
top floor of this hotel. It seems like a rented out conference room,
Oh yeah.
and Bradford is in there. It's a huge room. with a huge table. It probably seats like 20 people easily.
Yeah.
There is a whiteboard, obviously, and a projector. Nothing is hooked up. He just greets you as you enter. Oh, dear grandchild.
Grandsire.
And he doesn't hug you, but he taps you on the shoulders very awkwardly. Like,
Yes.
don't get too close, but yeah, this is the
Right.
best. This is the most affection I can show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good to see you again.
It's good you arrived before the others. There's some things I want to discuss.
Oh, I simply couldn't, do otherwise. Being first
It's good.
to arrive, it sets standards.
I want your opinion on things.
Yeah. Of course.
Tonight we are gonna establish our court, hand out titles.
Okay.
And first of all, would you like to be seneschal or herald? It's up to you.
Seneschal.
Of course. We will, of course, have to discuss with others about their titles or potential position, because I don't want to just give them something that they're going to refuse. I don't like to be refused.
Of course. It's a little ungrateful to be refused.
Very much so, and they have views, so we keep them around for now.
They're very useful.
I'm glad
More so
to.
than you may be inclined to believe.
I'm glad.
I've had the opportunity, nay, even the privilege, of witnessing how useful and valuable they are in the past few nights. So it's a good group.
I heard about what happened with Elaine.
Mm.
You handled it as well as one could.
Indeed, as well as
Maybe a
anyone could.
Bit noisy for my taste, but I don't think that was avoidable when involving Gabriel, and Anshin has a tendency to be a bit loud as well.
A little distraction. That's really the purpose of the noise.
Before
A little
before
over
the
here.
others arrive, is there anything specific you want to discuss with Bradford?
Yes. Alex will. So he says, in order to take the next step with the future of the Camarilla, I need to make sure that I'm clued into all of the resources and retainers that you may have, so that in case for some reason something should happen to you, or you're preoccupied or dealing with some other mess, I can make sure that things run smoothly as your seneschal. So this is typical Camarilla procedure.
You will be included.
Yeah.
And you will have access to my assets, of course.
Okay.
As essentials should.
Yes.
I know it's a bit unconventional, but I still need you to walk the streets a bit.
Does he know what he means by that?
Not if you're thinking prostitution. He's just, yeah.
I mean, Alex isn't bad looking and all, but yeah, he's not the first place his mind goes. So
I mean, be more active than a seneschal normally would, because we do not have enough subjects. And you would serve kind of like my herald. You would be my voice.
Of course.
Introducing people to the Camarilla personally with your touch, I feel is important.
I agree. And I am in the process of doing that.
To secure our subjects' obedience.
Naturally.
I know it's a bit unheard of, but I hope you can forgive me for the task I've given you. I know it's a lot, and you deserve so much more, and you should have people do it for you. But we must make do with what we have.
In time, I'm
In
sure
time.
that we will, and I'll make sure of that. It's only proper. On the note of obedience, are you aware of the discovery we made last night?
His eyebrow shoots in the air.
We encountered and met with one King Salvador Valencia, as he's referring to himself.
King.
Yes, indeed. That's the title he used and intended to hold on to, and proceeded to give me orders about what I could do for him. I assure you, I made it very clear that I would not be heeding such orders until I had proper communication and conversation with the likes of our current prince.
So you met with the cult.
I did.
He gets a grin on his face. And he very well done, my child. So what did they want?
Nothing short of running the show in the entirety of England for their god. We are allowed to, in his words, maintain our titles and roles and everything, but they would be giving us marching orders, essentially, which I found to be a little pardon the word, delusional, perhaps, presumptuous even, to presume to give the likes of the Camarilla any orders at all.
Who is this Valencia? How is he? Do
I'm
you know
sorry?
his clan?
This will add to the delusional Sunday for you here. A Bruja.
I'm just gonna do a little bit of French check.
Yeah.
One moment. Frenchy restrained, that's fine. But you see the anger on his face.
Oh yeah.
He's not happy about this.
And Alex
A Bruja.
communicates.
A
Yes.
Bruja! And he starts
I
to
know.
pace.
The fucking nerve.
And he calls himself king.
Right. And deems it even appropriate on the first meeting to give us marching orders.
This is something we have to discuss, but let me
It's-
gather my thoughts.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you. Yeah. I
Indeed.
feel I might take it out on you, so let's be quiet for a moment. And he sits down in a very throne-looking chair. It's
And
the
he's
one
gonna
with the
step
highest back.
Yeah. Now there's another chair at the end of the table. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be appropriate for Alex to go and sit at that chair as well?
Yeah. You can
Okay.
sit in front of each other,
Yes.
covering
Exactly.
the entire room.
Yes.
Vaughn? No, JK, you're the next to arrive. This is a very fancy hotel. You're greeted by some people who I don't know if they recognize you, but probably a ghoul of some kind. It's a lady, secretary looking, perhaps a lawyer, in her very fancy suit with a skirt, matching skirt, and a clipboard. And she walks you to a private elevator that takes you to a huge boardroom. And you're greeted by the back of Alex and Bradford, who's sitting in contemplation right now. He's like that, very like thinking and fingers moving. It's a bit tense in here.
JK is gonna take seat as close to the door as possible.
That's probably right next to Alex.
Yeah.
On his
And just
left side.
Welcome.
hello.
On Alex's right side are huge windows. Vaughn, you walk down the street with Scarlet. It's a lovely walk. It's a bit humid in the air. You hear a thunderclap or two. Nothing much. Just a bit of rumbling in the air. And
I ask Scarlet like just about herself, just small talk and that kind of stuff.
well, she's the
Probably.
child of Nathaniel, and she opens up a bit. She explains how she was embraced because she suffered from an illness that was unfortunately sexually transmitted during the 60s, and she was supposed to die very young, but Nathaniel saved her. She has been battling with the humanity since, keeping her hippie persona, more or less. But she's very delightful. It's like taking a walk with your grandma. She even speaks that
Yeah.
way. There's no hostility in her. It's like it's the most humane vampire you've ever met, possibly. And she's,
And because of that, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, it's
Because of that, Vaughn opens up to her a little bit and gives a few. He just I don't want to say it out loud and with everyone who can hear it. You know what I mean? But opens up a bit about kind of like the spark notes of how he became kindred. I'll say this much: he tells her about the war.
yeah. She's holding your hand tighter as you explain it, because she can feel what you're feeling almost, and without going through your head. And you arrive at this very large building, and you're met by the same secretary, and enter a huge boardroom on the top floor. And Alex is there, JK is there, Bradford is there. It's about 7:30 maybe.
He's just like, "Hey, what's up?"
On.
Bradford
Good to
just
see you.
waves, not looking up, but just like
It just does like a little whatever.
Yeah. Have a
How you guys
seat.
doing?
and
Sit down
then-
next to JK. And I hold open a chair next to me for Scarlet, if she'll take it.
Right. Yeah, she will. She's when she sees Bradford, you notice she's becoming nervous. She's not her happy self as she was on the walk here. She's starting to shake, just a little bit. She's not very composed.
I think if Vaughn sees that, he'll reach for her hand and give it a little squeeze.
She pulls out afterwards out of her handbag some yarn and starts knitting to calm herself down. Two other people enter the room, people you haven't seen before. One of them is a man, long hair, shoulder length. His eyes are almost black with void. It's very piercing, but very dark eyes. He has a short beard. He's blushed, but he has the same kind of aura as JK. And in follows a woman. Her hair is not as dark, but she has green eyes, and she's wearing a lot of makeup on top of the blush. And the man, he carries himself like a cavalryman. He has a cane in one hand. I think, Naomi, you would recognize a sword cane when you see one. The other one is more academic in her appearance. She's not wearing glasses or anything like that, but she could be a professor. She's very well dressed as well. You feel a kinship with them, Naomi. The
don't think
man,
I've
he
Walked
knocked.
in yet.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
It's okay.
When you get there, you would see the cane. But he
Okay.
nods at all of you, and he would shake your hand if you want to. He presents himself as Mr. Aldrich. and presents the woman as well. This is Carolyn Quinn, or Miss Quinn. I'll just write here. You don't get a first name. And do you tell him a name? All of you that are there, JK, Alex, Vaughn.
He,
do you
he's
mean?
just like,
He wants to shake your hand, and he says Mr. Aldrich when he presents himself.
it's all you, Alex.
Mr. Kairos, at your service, Mr. Aldrich.
Good to meet you, Mr. Kairos. If you greet him and give him a name, you notice immediately he will always put Mr. and Miss in front of it.
Vaughn will give him like that and be like, Vaughn Hampton, nice to meet you.
Miss Quinn is a bit more humane and delightful. She just smiles and follows Aldrich around. And they sit down at the table as well. The next people to arrive are Gabriel, who arrives with a woman you haven't seen before. She's not kindred, you notice that immediately. She's breathing. And Elaine comes in as well. Gabriel sits down as close to Alex as he can. And the woman, she's wearing a sort of a top t-shirt thing, but she has a huge cross around her neck. She has freckles, she has brown eyes. Irish, probably. And when she speaks, definitely Irish. Like Gabriel. I'm not going to do an Irish accent because I'm going to do it disjustice, but yeah. He whispers to you, Alex, this is Teresa. She manages my store.
And Alex is going to look at her and just basically say, pleasure.
Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Kairos. Gabriel has told me great things. She's smiling, almost robotic.
Is it alright if Vaughn, like, over the table looks over at Alex and just goes like that? Like, you got the eyes saying, like, you got this, bro. You got this.
Elaine sits down as well. Everyone is there for now, as you're missing a few. And you hear a clap of thunder again. Seems like it's getting closer. Naomi, it's 10 to 8. You know you can't walk there, but Victor, he says, I think it's about time. He looks at the watch and he starts creating a portal. And the portal appears in the boardroom, and Naomi and Victor steps out of it and sits down. He simply nods at Bradford, who has not paid attention to any one of you. He's just waved when you came in, but he seems like his eyes is closed and he's lost in thought. And 1 minute to 8, and Nathaniel appears out of nowhere.
Of course.
You would have heard the elevator, but it seems he went another way. He sits down next to Scarlett, and Elaine is probably in front of him because she does not want to be near Scarlett if she can avoid it. They're not the friendly sisters. And if anyone else is there, they are not visible. Nathaniel, before he sits down, Alex, he pokes you on the shoulder and puts a note in your pocket. Just whispers in your ear, I found you the sire.
And he nods. It's appreciated. Thank you. Just he's gonna just keep that there. He's not gonna open it up right now.
No, it's very discreetly put. He's fast.
Yeah.
You just feel it.
Yeah. And he's just gonna let it slide.
Yeah.
He's gonna let that play out.
Yeah, Naomi, you walk in and you see the same. All the people here. It's all you've met plus 2. And those who are probably invisible.
Yeah.
Do you sit
She,
next to Victor?
Yeah, I'm just gonna quickly describe her dress. It pretty much is uh like a hot red fading to like a deep blood red, and then it's a cross around her neck, a bit of designs showing higher midriff, and then just a long dress with her hair pulled back, a bit of bangs, and it's slightly curled at the back, but it's more or less for wispy design. Um, yeah, she takes a seat right beside Victor, like kind of waves to her coterie a bit, and more or less she's like pretty serious because she knows some pretty big decisions are going to be made.
You can see that Miss Quinn really appreciates the dress.
Oh, she nods.
She's looking at it and like nods to herself and like, that's a nice dress, but she doesn't say it out loud. You can just see it on her face.
Yeah, I could probably read her eyes.
Alex is going to acknowledge with, a greeting. Naomi, Victor, welcome.
When everyone is sat down, Bradford opens with, Gabriel, what is your pet doing here? And Gabriel, he just looks at him and says, first of all, Prince, she's not a pet. Second of all, none of your fucking business. And Bradford just shakes his head. Very well, if you insist. Then he stands up, looks at you all, and says, well, we must choose the seats of power tonight. We must hand out titles, responsibilities, and everything that goes along with it. I have been informed that you have located the cult of Mithras, and they were... how shall I put this? Not into diplomacy.
Rude.
Rude. Good. You hear another clap of thunder. So, first of all, Alex will be the seneschal. Victor, of course, will be my warlock. He looks at you, Naomi. Would you be comfortable with being Toreador or Primogen?
I'd be honored.
You don't have a lot of people to keep track of, but some. He looks at Aldrich and Quinn.
Oh, interesting.
They have expressed their desire not to lead, but they'll happily want to be included in our structure.
What about the harpies? If there is any, are they?
I feel a harpy should know everyone's dirty secrets. And you're not quite there yet. I think Henry would be better suited for that, actually.
Well, that's what I was saying. Is like I wasn't implying herself, but interesting, Henry. Okay.
If he wants it, he looks around the room. I don't even know. But to the outliers, he looks at you, Vaughn, and you, JK. What position could you have within the Camarilla?
What do you think, JK?
I could speak on JK's behalf.
If Naomi's gonna speak up, then I'll let her.
I was just gonna say, I assume you probably had some probably title in mind, but I could speak of his good nature.
Do you even want to be Primogen? He looks at you, JK.
Personally, I'd rather not have any part of this power structure, but if it's between that and what we experienced last night, then I assume that would be better.
one does not refuse the Camarilla. They're in it whether they like it or not. But you actually have the chance to be involved in the decision making of it. And you have a rare opportunity here of becoming a primogen of a clan that's not usually in such a position.
This is not even heard of, I don't think.
Alex has ensured me that these are new times and we should think differently. But I'm not gonna make an offer that you're gonna refuse. You can think on it.
I'd rather do that, yes.
24 hours, he says, and looks at Vaughn. What about you, Mr. Hampton?
I don't think there's any position that really would suit me, to be honest with you. I mean, primogen of what? Am I right? So
Do get visitors, but I understand what you're saying. I need a herald, someone to speak my word, invite people.
Maybe 24 hours, but expect the answer might be no.
I'm not gonna
I
make
don't
the
exactly-
offer before 24 hours. I don't like to be refused, but you can think on it. Tell Mr.
Alright.
Kairos you answer. The same goes for you. He looks at you, JK. I think that would be better. You hear another clap of thunder. He sits down again and says, Mr. Kairos, or anyone else, would you please explain your situation from yesterday evening with the sun?
Indeed, it would be my pleasure. He stands up. For everyone gathered here, we had the opportunity to meet with, encounter the cult of Mithras in this city, the acting members of the cult of Mithras in this city, two prominent members in particular, one calling himself King.
I've met him, says Gabriel.
Yeah, and he's just biting down on the word King, Salvador Valacia.
A lightning bolt strikes in the distance.
And one Vizier Harry Livingston. I will go on to say that Salvador was less than polite in his greetings to us.
Mr. Aldrich speaks up and says, I believe Vizier is something Ban Hakim used for the planners.
Indeed, and that is what he is. As it stands, Salvador, in all of his wisdom, was more than content to presume that the cult in Mithras's name and by Mithras's orders would be ruling this city, in charge of all domains. And while King Valacia was more than happy to allow us and he said this in a way that was openly disrespectful, our titles pro forma, the real power would be the cult of Mithras, the Heralds of the Sun. I have no problems in saying that I stood up to them and basically made it very clear that I would not agree to any such terms until we had a chance to meet and discuss their terms among each other and decide for ourselves how we would respond and who we would properly serve. and because I feel that every kindred deserves that right. And apparently the cult doesn't agree. He was willing to allow me to walk out and discuss things with you because, of course, there was a modicum of decorum in him to allow that. But he has already presumed that we would come back with a confirmation of the cult's reign in this city.
Nathaniel is scratching his beard, much like I'm doing right now, and saying, "So he's king now." I met.
That's
him.
what he's calling
I
himself.
met them. They seemed fine at the time, but they'd just woken up from, I believe, a 70-year slumber.
Indeed, he indicated that they had slept through all of the troubles that we have encountered in this city in the past many months.
I can say that from what I've heard and tried, they will ask first, but if you refuse, they will kill you or diabolize you immediately without hesitation. They are all warriors, and they have they've done great things for this city, but also terrible things. They are one of the reasons why Antigen is not standing at every station in London at the moment. They managed to maneuver them around a bit. But they are dangerous. I suspect from what I know that Salvador is the face of it, but Harry has always been the more thinking type.
He seems the more polite of the two, if politeness can be applied at all.
Oh, he's very honest. Very fun, actually. Even though he does not notice it. He will speak the truth, always.
Nathaniel, do you believe that these heralds of the sun have any kind of controlling interest in Operation Antigen, or do you think that they're just good at manipulating them?
Manipulation. Their Nosferatu is, and I have to curse, fucking excellent in what he does.
Indeed. So I found out. They'd kept an eye on us the entire time.
He's a great spy master. And I don't think the issue's them. They're bound to Mithras. Bloodbound. They cannot refuse. And nor can anyone in the cult. It's a part of their initiation to drink the blood of Mithras and be bound to the sun god. Even if they wanted to, I don't think they could. But it does not seem like they're permitted or want to deal. Nor do they have any respect for the Camarilla. As an independent, he says, looking at Bradford, I do not really care who holds the Masquerade. But an all-out war would breach it. So if you intend to remove them, please do it quietly. Another bolt of lightning strikes, followed by a clap of thunder.
Alex is going to look to Bradford because he wants to say more, but he doesn't want to overstep his place right here.
Oh, he's gesturing like, go ahead.
Yeah, he says, well, I find their terms disagreeable.
What were they?
And that we would all essentially be following their orders and under their rule. And I'm not about to bend the knee to anyone but the prince. And that's as it should be. I think all of us in here respect that. We don't want to be under his thumb. Any one of us, independent, anarch, Camarilla, it doesn't matter. None of us want to be serving Mithras. And so,
Or anyone else, says Gabriel.
And he says, for the sake of our own autonomy and the sake of our own future in this city, I can't see any kind of peace with these fanatics unless they are suddenly willing to change their tune. And perhaps, if it is too much trouble for Mithras, perhaps some terms will be reached that will be more to our liking. But until such time, I think that, I can only speak for myself here, but I'm ready to return a firm no to King Valencia.
The light flickers for a moment and you hear the ding of the elevator. And you see Mirren dragging Josh out of it. A very confused Josh. And she just looks around the room and says very quietly, sorry we're late, and sits down, pulls him to a chair. He does not, he's very, like he wants to go back in the elevator. He does not want to be here, but she's dragging him along.
Josh, Mirren, thank you for joining us.
I'm sorry I had to drag him out of the house.
The king welcomes you.
Josh looks at you and then at Bradford, and he's not sure what to do.
Yeah, I wanted to leave that open. So.
And Marion just leans back, puts her feet on the table, her combat boots, not caring about the nice furniture. He's like, "Don't let me interrupt you."
Welcome.
Thank you. Another bolt of lightning strikes.
I would like to hear the perspectives of everyone else here about this matter that stands before us.
Basically, Naomi chimes in. She's like, "Well, everything Alex mentioned, we were there. We can confirm it. The only one that wasn't present to witness it was Killjoy. But
I know where
we got a lot on our hands. Do you know where he is? Cool. Good to know."
Bradford, he looks Alex in the eye. We have a task. You might notice that Adrian is not here as well.
Indeed. And that will be dealt with.
But she's doing her job. He smiles.
Indeed.
He's a bit of a outlier. But after tonight, I should know his clan.
Interesting.
All we needed was a bit of blood. But that's a different matter. I don't feel like Mr. Killjoy would be very inclined to be part of the decision-making process. He seems too free, he says, and looks at Gabriel, who's just rolling his eyes, and says, Gabriel, he speaks up and says, "So, this rule, this Camarilla, all this fine and dandy, but if you want our support, we want our own area. We want our own domain where we can hang out, be free. Otherwise, we're gonna leave." And we have...
Sorry, go on.
Oh, sorry.
I always just be like, well, we're... As far as I know, this is our home. Where else would we go?
But I need Bradford's word that I'm gonna have my own place where I can do what I want. And people who are less inclined to follow the Camarilla around like lapdogs. They can have their peace. We are gonna follow your rules. We are gonna attend your Alicias when we want to. We will call you Prince. But we want our own place. I don't want you showing up at my bar, he says and looks at Bradford. Whenever it suits you. And we want to be Anarch in name, with a Camarilla alliance. That is as far as I can go. Alex, you see the Ventru brain turning, and Bradford's mind doing all the calculations and everything. And he's like, very well. But I have one demand. If it comes to a fight, you will fight on our side. And Gabriel says, fight we can do. Another bolt of lightning strikes. The clouds are getting darker.
Where does Killjoy fit in all this? You're expecting him to be part of Camarilla?
I think he would make a good scourge, Mirren says, with a smile.
Interesting.
Not sheriff, it's too much. And Bradford says, I quite agree, but I have to verify certain things first.
Who is our sheriff? Who do you plan to be our sheriff?
Actually, I was thinking of Gabriel. And he looks, and Gabriel is quite surprised at the remark.
Quite a bit for an Anarch.
He has the physical prowess and the people skills that it would take to be a sheriff. With Marin as a scourge, and perhaps Killjoy. Only answering to me. And at that remark, Gabriel he's just shaking his head slightly, closing his eyes. Like it's an idea he can't quite get used to, but he's still thinking about it.
Well, it's a new world, I guess.
Nathaniel says we have to work together, and Elaine she nods in agreement. We can't have sex or titles or mere terminology come in the way of structure and peace. And getting rid of Vantagen and Mithras is going to take all of us. We can't be fighting about political bullshit. She is as straightforward as she usually is, with a frown on her face, very tight. Scarlet is just knitting. It's nodding, like she's not really there. And Josh is constantly looking at the elevator. And back at Alex. And then at some of you guys, and then the elevator. He's not keen to speak, and he's not keen to be here either.
Naomi kind of thinks to herself about wondering if it will ever get in the way of her plans with Victor, but she doesn't want to address it right now, just in case. Just with everyone in the room.
What are you thinking?
That's about it. Well, titles comes with responsibilities, and then making sure she gets her enough space in order to make sure she can attend to her other, lack of a better word, quests. So she might have to partake on. But she's wondering if there's any like direct exchange of land in general for everyone. And has that been delegated, and like has the lines been drawn?
It's still to be decided.
Okay, good to know.
right now it's more structure, titles, things like that.
Yeah. Okay.
But it seems like London is severely lacking kindred to
Yes.
fill out all the roles. So they might have to take an alternative approach. This time 2 bolts of lightning strike, followed by immediate thunderclaps. Nathaniel, he stands up and he turns his back to the room and stares out into the sky.
What's on your mind, Nathaniel?
Just a feeling. Something I haven't felt in a long time.
Bradford, are we alone here?
Nathaniel says, no, Henry's in the corner. And as soon as he says that, then Henry appears with a smile, like, yeah, I'm here.
To know.
Can never hide from you, Nathaniel. No, you cannot.
Could I force a premonition?
Yes.
That's a great idea.
I have a bad feeling.
I mean, I don't think we've gone in a single episode without a premonition, so I'm always in favor of a vision.
It's such a fun tool.
Sullivan Auspex.
Okay.
It's respectable.
4
Wait, what?
with 5 dice. That's good. You get a feeling of home. Scandinavia, more specific. The area, the nature. You feel like you're in a forest. You hear a woman scream. And you see blood, a waterfall of blood, surrounded by blackness. Lightning strikes. You hear the scream again. And then you come back to yourself. I know it's very ominous, JK.
Just a little bit.
Another bolt of lightning strikes. Nathaniel, he says, it cannot be. And you see the sky turn red outside. The interval between the lightning bolts become more frequent. And some of them are red. You can't help but look at this, all of you. And Joss is like, no, 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 no. Like almost going into a trance, just really scared looking.
Alex is going to turn to Victor and address him.
He's
Victor.
shrugging. I have no idea. And then a lightning bolt shatters the window. I need all of you to do a willpower check. At difficulty 5.
Oh,
4.
so
Oh,
close.
so close.
Poor Vaughn.
Oh no.
Really?
3 for JK.
Do you do the thing?
You want me to click it?
Sure.
There we go.
Okay, cool.
3. Okay.
I succeed at a cost, perhaps.
It's not gonna be as severe. It's not
Okay.
gonna kick in your conviction.
Okay.
Someone appears. The table in the middle shatters from the lightning bolt. You feel all of it, the sheer power coming from this individual. Vaughn, JK, Naomi, you are pushed. Your beast cowers in fear to the floor, to the walls. You want to be as far from this as possible. Alex, you're left sitting, but you feel paralyzed from the fear. You're not cowering like the others, but you're holding the armrests and basically keeping yourself composed in this awesome power that just entered the room. It's a woman. She has scarlet red hair, like it's been soaked in blood. She's wearing a dress. Seems very old-fashioned. JK, you think this is Viking age. And bare skin on her shoulders. Nathaniel looks at her and you see a tear forming in his eye. A blood tear. And he says, Abby? At the mention of the name, she immediately appears next to him and backhands him. You can hear the cheekbone breaking as he slams into the wall.
Ouch.
And she says, never in front of company. She looks around at all of you. Only Alex and Victor and Bradford are left standing or sitting. But you can visibly see the effect of it. The only one who seems to be unaffected is Nathaniel, but he's just been smacked across the room. Josh is still sitting, going, no, 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 no. She looks at all of you just for a moment, but her attention goes to Bradford. And she says, you've made quite a bit of a mess. And he responds with, who in the hell are you? Who am I? Who am I? And she rushes to him like Nathaniel does and just holds him up in the collar. I am your superior. I am your elder and you should respect me. And she just sits him down in the chair, not harming him in any way. She looks around the room again. Does anyone want to speak? I think, Alex, you're the only one who can get a word in if you want to. Nathaniel is collecting himself.
He's gonna say, "What do you want?"
She rushes to you. The thing that you see is not. It's the actual look of concern on Bradford as he stands up and looks to see what she does. She's like inches from your face, just looks you in the eye and says, "Go sit down, infant." And turns back to Bradford. Says, "I have liberated Justicar Par of her duties. She is no longer fit. Another one will take her place. The council has decided that for now, the Camarilla will not be active in Britain." And she looks at Nathaniel. He's finally stood up. "You created two. Two, did you? There's only supposed to be 10 of us. I'll deal with you later. Bring the both of them." She looks at Scarlet and Elaine. Elaine is more composed than Scarlet. Scarlet is actually crying and wailing like a little child with tears of blood just running down her face. And Nathaniel says, "But, Miss Craven, I haven't seen you in 50 years. I was lonely." She rushes through the room again. "I do not care about your reasons for doing what you did. You have one job. You have one job, Nathaniel, and you didn't do that. We're leaving. Bring your children." And he's gesturing for them, and you feel the pressure ease a little bit in the room. You're not pushed away from her. And a crying Scarlet and very stubborn Elaine walks towards Nathaniel, who grabs their hands with one last look. Miss Abby Craven, Abigail perhaps, she looks around the room at all of you and disappears in the same bolt of lightning that she arrived with. The window is shattered and you're left in a room where the wind rushes in, and most people in here are in shock. Your beast relaxes again and you return to yourselves. And Bradford is completely speechless, and so is Victor. Josh is still going, looking at the elevator. Marin is gone. Completely gone. She stepped out through a shadow. And the rest of you get back from the floor and the walls and whatever you were hanging onto. And Alex, you lose your grip on the armrest. And Bradford sits down with a very angry look on his face. The silence is not broken by anyone.
Just, I think at this moment, Vaughn would get up, go towards the shattered window, and be like, "The answer from me for position is no." And then he just jumps out the window. Then I'm gonna do the feather fall equivalent, weight of the feather.
I think it's
And if no one,
it's
yeah, that's my
when
idea.
you notice, when you know you don't have to roll. It's just if you fall and all of a sudden then you have. Yeah, Vaughn disappears down a very large building. If anyone sees him, they're probably gonna think someone just committed suicide. And Bradford, he says, "Everyone but Alex leave." And people start to go to the elevator. It can only hold like 6 people, so it will take a while. But the first to leave are Josh and Mr. Aldrich, Miss Quinn. Do Naomi and JK want to go with them?
Naomi could probably take Victor and we'll just go out fucking portal, but she scoffs at
Victor
this
is
whole-
going towards the elevator as well.
Oh, is he? Okay, then
yeah.
so be it.
JK is gonna hand Alex the note, and it like titles laws of blah blah, so that if he wishes, he can read up on them.
Thank you.
And
Thanks, JK, for that.
you're left in the room with the wind rushing in and a quiet but angry Bradford. He seems to be contemplating what just happened. And you've never seen him surprised before. Or being pushed around.
Alex is standing up. What the fuck was that?
I have no idea, but she was ancient.
You didn't know about this?
That's way above my pay grade, dear child. We're dealing with millennia here. I'm old, but I'm not that old. These are the people above the Justicars. The people who are really in charge.
I know. I know who they are.
But it's
I
not.
thought we were representing them here.
So did I. We have to. It does not change our plans. We will
No, of
proceed
course not. Yes. we
with or
will.
without the backing. We will show our backbone. We will show that we can do this, and then they will have to accept it.
Indeed.
Maybe it's a test.
And they will. Oh, I think the Camarilla will come around once we've done what we need to do here.
I need to confirm it. I need to talk to an Archon or something. You've never seen him flustered or angry, but he's like, and the general look of concern when she rushed towards you. You don't know if he's concerned for you or for losing an asset. That's the thing. I must think on this, child.
Of course. I'll be in touch. He's going to get up. By your leave.
He just waves. Like,
And Alex is going to walk out.
you probably meet the others at the ground floor if they haven't left the building. do JK and Naomi wait around?
JK has left.
Yeah.
Immediately.
I'm gonna stick around only because this is not what she's so fucking mad.
And Vaughn, you peaced out as well?
Yeah, I just left. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm just gonna go. Yeah, just like, no, when things that old doesn't sit well with me, I'm gone.
Alex, you're greeted by Naomi and Victor, who are looking at like, at least Victor is like, what happened? Is he okay?
He's shaken up. He looks like he didn't expect it. Which
None of
is, yes, well,
Who arrived
We
by
should have.
thunderstorm?
we should have expected it. And this may be a play. It's a play by certainly superpowers, but they should have seen it coming. We'll deal with it. Just like we've dealt with every other thing in the city.
Let me know how I can help.
I certainly will. I'll call upon you soon.
It's good to know. He looks at you, Naomi. I'll see you another night. I have things to consider.
It's completely fine.
Please,
she looks at Alex.
Take good
Yeah.
care of our seneschal, Primogen. And he walks out.
She kind of bites her lip and angrily and like just looks to Alex like so angry and just like actually like somewhat embarrassed of this whole situation.
Alex,
He
you
reflects
feel,
her anger.
feel a poke on your shoulder. Pointy nail. Naomi, you see Henry appear.
Oh, okay.
Hey, boss. You had a job?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I want you to set up a meeting tomorrow night.
How
with
discreet. And do we care about feces? He looks at Naomi.
He tries not
he's
to
asking
comment.
if the sewers are fine.
We care about feces. As though you should, as though you even need to ask that question.
You're standing in front of a Ventru as well. Like, she
Yeah.
starts trying to rip her dress to like wrap it around her face again.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, no,
The
that won't be
sewers
necessary.
are the safest place, but I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
If you have no other option,
Oh, I'll
only
find something.
then, I have two jobs for you. That and I want eyes on the spy master.
Oh, no, I'm not touching that.
Oh yes, you are.
No,
you are
no,
touching.
no.
Yes.
I met
want.
him. He's a good guy, and Nos. I'm not gonna do Nos. No. He has the ability
just
to
want-
see me. I don't like that. We don't usually do that, but he can, and I don't like it. He always sees me coming.
Okay. Well, we'll have to do something about that, won't we?
Yeah, I can talk to him, but I can't keep an eye on him. It's a Nosferatu thing. I hope you understand it. We're not from the same brood, but still.
I understand, but soon enough, the Nosferatu are going to have to choose a side here, and
We
I
never
trust
do.
you. I trust you more than I trust him, and there are boons in it for you.
Well, then you can trust me.
And second boon over here.
Yeah.
I'll see what I can do about Spy Master, but don't expect too much, okay? I'm not
That's
asking
fine.
a boon
It's
either.
just
I'm just asking for a little give and take here. I want eyes on him.
Well, he's
They're
quite
allowed
a
to have
nice
eyes
guy,
on.
so I can talk
Yeah.
to him.
Oh, of course, but
But
they
Just
he's working for
assume-
them.
if there's a camera, he can see you.
okay. Good to know.
And even if
Yes.
there's not,
Even if
a
there's
rat
not,
or anything,
you know what? You know what I know? You see this? You see this right here? You see this piece of technology? It gets shitty reception sometimes. You get my meaning? Yeah.
I would.
Let's
break
make
it,
sure
though.
there's some. Let's make sure there's some shitty reception sometimes.
Well, I can do that.
And good.
If you want encryption, I can do that. but keeping
Good.
an eye on
That's
the
what I'm
spot master,
talking
that's,
about. Yes. What you can do, I want. That's what I want.
I have a location, but I can't promise it's gonna be pretty, but feces free.
I don't want it watched. That's the one rule.
Oh, no. Nothing is gonna watch you down there.
Okay, good. Clean it
Nothing
up.
electrical is gonna work either, so
Good.
don't bring your iPod whatevers and things like that. It's gonna get fried. Leave your phones at the door. Say that to everyone attending.
Fantastic.
Are you calling the invites yourself?
Yes, I will. Unless you have a better idea.
For the boon,
Yes.
just for the fun of it, ask JK.
Okay.
Help him out.
All right. I certainly will.
Can I take my leave, Seneschal?
You may.
You
I will see you
feel
tomorrow
the
night.
flippant in his voice, but yeah. He looks around and like disappears.
I love Henry. I love that dude.
Naomi, we do
Yes.
what we must, but we will make this right. Is there anything I can do for you tonight? Get you back home? Maybe take you back to my place? Judith has been wanting to see you again.
Oh, yes, Judith. Yeah, might as well. She is so angry, but maybe thinking about magic and for a little while will kind of take her anger. This is not what we had in our plans.
Indeed. Alex senses it. He knows what you're feeling. At least he can feel the waves of anger and resentment coming off of you, and
Yeah, there's
embarrassment.
definitely resentment.
Yeah.
But it's
Oh,
not because you knew.
Yeah, right, exactly. But you can sense that coming off of Naomi, and you can sense that he kind of feels a little put out too, in terms of what just happened. Like, this is not the way tonight was supposed to go.
I'm gonna end the session.
Okay.
With a premonition, of course.
Awesome.
JK. It's a sequel. You're flying above the forest where you heard the woman scream. You kind of zoom in between the dark trees, and you see Miss Craven on a wooden block with people around her, soaking her hair in blood, and whatever is happening to her is not pleasant at all. They're all dressed in robes, and, except her, she's completely naked. And the guy standing at her head chows down on her neck. But you have a certain feeling that this happened before the beginning of this millennia. Somewhere in Scandinavia. And that's where I'm gonna leave tonight.